to Before You Go, the official podcast of ABODE Contemplative Care for the Dying.
At ABODE, our vision is that we live in a world where death is not feared and we live fully until we die. And we'd like to make that happen before we go. I'm Mary Thorsby, ABODE's CEO.
I'm Natalie Buster, ABODE's End of Life Doula and Yoga Director. Welcome to Before You Go.
Hi, Natalie.
Hey, Mary. How you doing?
I'm excellent. And you?
Oh, wonderful. So excited to talk to you today.
Well, it's great to be here. And as we always do at ABODE, we start with what we like to call a contemplative moment, just to get our life together and focus on our time today. And for this contemplative moment, I'd like to share a beautiful poem that my grandmother needle-pointed. I found this when I was going through my mom's belongings after she died. And it's a poem that says, "I shall pass this way but once. Therefore, any good that I can do or any kindness that I can show, let me do that now, for I shall not pass this way again." And that was written by Etienne de Grelais, a American French-American missionary, Quaker missionary. I think what I love about this poem is so often during the day, I go from one thing to another. I constantly have to remind myself to stop, show some kindness, do something good in the moment when I'm with someone and not be thinking 3 steps ahead, which is the way I'm wired. So I thought perhaps we can all think about that as we go about our day. This is it. We don't get a redo. The time to do sweet things for folks is right now.
Oh, Mary, that is so beautiful. And I love that you found that amongst your mother's belongings. So it has special sweetness.
It really does. It's to come across those treasures just, makes you all the more thankful.
Oh my gosh, it's the gifts that continue to show up in our lives. And in this case, it's a physical gift, but also the message behind that statement is this gift that you can take with you throughout your week, your year. And I love that you invited us all to do the same.
So today, I thought we could talk about our wonderful program where we do sweet things and show kindness. It's our End of Life Doula certification program.
So cool.
It's just that so many people want to do this as a career or as a side gig or what have you. During COVID, we were reading about and hearing about people working as end-of-life doulas or death doulas. Sometimes they're called doula midwives. And we thought, wow, what they're doing is so similar to what we do here at ABODE. How cool would it be if we also trained folks to do what we do so that they can go out into the community and provide the same beautiful care for folks at end of life as we do at ABODE? So we've been running our program for 2 years now, and Natalie joined us this past year, and it's just blossomed, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been a dream come true. And I think what I love most about it is we're able to take the goodness and the sweetness that is ABODE and bring it to the community. We can't reach everybody within the walls of ABODE, although we certainly try. But this allows us to really get that message across and help people who may not have the resources to help themselves.
Right. So our next cohort, actually, we're right in the middle of one right now. It is just going so beautifully. We started September 14th with our cohort number 7. And so far, we've trained about 70 people here in San Antonio and Austin. It's so exciting to see that folks are finding new ways to help other folks at end of life.
I think what I love most about this, every cohort's my favorite, right? I can never say this one's my favorite because the last one was also my favorite. But what I really love about this particular cohort is we have people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice to see that people who may not even be medical professionals, where we think that this is what death care is all about, is it's a medical event and it's medical professionals and all these things. We're seeing quite the opposite. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, the body knows how to die. And back in the day, people helped one another at end of life. It wasn't a medical event, and it doesn't have to be. And it's certainly not that at Abode.
No, we have a New York actress in our cohort. We have a paralegal who helps out and works in elder care. We have people who have had loved ones pass and they wanted to learn a little bit more about that, maybe working through their own grief. Of course, we have some hospice workers and registered nurse case managers and social workers. But what I love is that there's just this richness of experience, and everybody has their own reason, their own why as to what called them to do this kind of work. And we're really seeing that in this cohort.
The curriculum we offer is so special. We're holding our courses every Saturday afternoon for 9 Saturdays. And the content that we cover is so special. It's everything from the stages of dying, what the body goes through, the different types of terminal illnesses that we come across and how they play out over time, grieving, caregivers, how we can support caregivers.
Self-care. I think there's such a huge burnout and compassion fatigue that happens for anyone, for the person who's dying and also the loved ones who are caring for that person. And so giving them specific contemplative tools so that they can continue to fill their cup, I think is so important. And what I love about this program, Mary, and I mean, I really applaud you for bringing all of this together. I know it's a team effort, but I bow to you, is that we're able to invite our students to practice with people that we care for at Abode, so that they get to practice bedside care, things like repositioning ambulatory needs, helping someone get out of the bed and maybe use the commode, or just getting people a little bit more comfortable. That way, when they go out into the community to serve people, they're not seeing these things for the first time. They've had a chance to be around people who are dying, to work with whatever comes up for them, any fears, any aversions, and being able to practice, I think is so important. And that's a huge component of our training.
It is, and the contemplative nature of what we do at Abode, to really practice being in the moment, being present for people. It's easy to think of it. It's hard to put it into real practice, though, to not be rushed, to be totally focused on the moment that you're having with someone. And again, as we've talked about in previous podcasts, just the idea that you don't have to do anything in particular. You just have to just be with the person. As a doula, there are lots of things that we can do and will do. Most important is just to be present for that person and make sure that they feel valued, celebrated, and heard.
Really letting the client, or we call them at Abode guests, letting them lead the way. Because, and this is something I've found in the year that I've been part of this program, is that you can practice all of the things, but you are inevitably going to come across a situation that you have never seen before, something that may challenge you at the core, something that may cause you to have fear, aversion, all of the emotions. And I think that just knowing that is half the battle right there. You don't have to have all the answers. And there will be times when you can just say, I don't know, let's just see what happens. And it's kind of funny when you think about, yes, we are training people in that. We're training people in that don't know mindset. But we also give you all the tools so that you have that don't know mindset, but then you also have this beautiful toolbox, this toolkit that you can draw experiences from, you can draw practices from, you can have helpful hints for what your guest or client might need, and getting you as prepared as possible to be in this arena.
You can also share your experiences and draw on best practices with others through our ABODE Doula Town Hall, Natalie, that you host a couple of times a month on Zoom. All of our ABODE doulas gather on Zoom, and you all have the richest, beautiful conversations about what folks have experienced as doulas.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things about that town hall is that our doulas don't feel alone. And that's something that we want to convey to the people that we serve too, that they are not alone at the time of death, that we are there to walk this path with them. But I also want to make sure that our doula pool has that same feeling, that they feel supported, that they have other people who are doing what they're doing, and they can share, like you said, best practices or sticky situations or ask questions. And it's also an opportunity for us to provide continuing education for the doulas that have graduated from our training programs. They're going out in the field and helping people. But as we learn new and innovative approaches to end-of-life care, we can share those practices with them so that they stay up to date and current on everything that we know and that we're learning from the different avenues that we're a part of. And just being able to share that space with each other, I think is so sweet.
It is. It is. So, in addition to training folks to become ABODE doulas and to go out and find their own clients, we are also providing them with clients through our ABODE at Home Doula Dispatch program. So, tell everybody about that.
Well, it is so wonderful, and I'm so excited about this. Before we go into that, though, I'm wondering if we should define what a death doula is, right? Because we talk about it and it's in our lexicon and we know and we're in it. But to the average listener, like, what is a death doula? There's a word there that I've never heard before. It sounds like it's not English. And so first of all, we'll translate what doula means. It's a Greek word that means a woman who serves. We believe at ABODE that it's not just women who serve, it's everybody who serves. And I guess a good working definition that we can use is death doulas or end-of-life doulas are non-medical advocates for someone at the end of life, and that these doulas can provide emotional and spiritual support. And I just find that beautiful. And doulas in general, like they can meet us at many different points. In fact, we believe that everyone should have an end-of-life doula or death doula by the time they turn 18, which seems really young, right? We think of this type of field as being only for people who are older, maybe who have been ill for a long time. But if we start to get our affairs in order and think about what we want done with our bodies, what we want done with our possessions, making sure we tell the people that we want to tell that we love them, and creating that beautiful atmosphere for the end of life, for our end of life, so that we're not putting all of that burden on the people that we leave behind. And we believe that we can start that as early as 18. And then you just check in every couple years to see if anything's changed. But like I said, we can work with healthy individuals, talking about mortality in general and getting in front of our fears and having education about the fears of dying, having education about the stages of dying, making sure that we can live fully until we die, but then also preparing for death and making specific decisions now. Things like end-of-life advance directives, which we'll go into in future episodes, thinking about power of attorney and do I have one? And I need one for medical and financial. Oh my goodness, there's so much. Doing that life review and really honoring the person for everything that they've been through in their lives, really taking account into all of the people they've touched and all of the beautiful things they've done during their lives. Legacy projects. I did a sweet one for my mom when she died. We did, my father and my sister and I did this beautiful musical presentation where we went through every decade of her life with what were the hits of that decade of her life, what were the top 10 hits of her life, and how that wove into the stories of her life and certain songs that she really loved. We can talk about vigil planning, how you want the room to look, who you want by your side, what kind of funeral you might want. If you want to donate your body to science, getting in front of that and all of that paperwork and making sure that your finances are in order. It's so much, right? And that's something we can do while we're still healthy, while we still have a lot of energy to take on these tasks. And an end-of-life doula can really help with that. Where the ABODE doulas come in, and the ABODE at Home Doula Dispatch Service that we provide, we start working with people who are already on hospice, people who are terminally ill and maybe actively dying. And so we give them companionship, education on what they can expect during their final weeks, days, hours even. We can help them fill out their advance directives. Even though we're not lawyers, we can help them decide what they need to complete, what hasn't been completed yet, and get them in touch with people who can help make that happen. We can help them plan an end-of-life celebration. So many times, I think historically, the celebration is after the person has died, and that's wonderful for the family and the people who are left behind. But more and more, we're seeing that people want to have that celebration while they're still around to enjoy it and hear all the good things that people are saying about them. So we can help them navigate that. We can provide comfort care, holding space. Again, that don't know mindset, letting them lead the way, maybe just even holding their hand or matching their breathing, letting them know that they're not alone, and helping them if they need to get a little bit more comfortable in their bed with pillows or supports or bolsters. Make sure that we give them oral care if their lips are dry, and just making sure that they're as comfortable as possible. And then even after death, we've had a couple of our doulas help the spouse or family members with funeral arrangements or any paperwork assistance. I think, Mary, you have a great story of one of our first doulas. Well, it's a husband and wife team that we dispatched. Why don't you tell it? I love the way you tell it.
I love this story. If this doesn't prove the value of having an end of life doula, I don't know what does. There was a woman whose husband had died. He'd been on hospice, and he left her with a mountain of paperwork, and she needed help going through it. And I can certainly relate to that. So our two from our first cohort, Sandy and Wayne, went over and sifted through all of her paperwork. In the course of an hour, they uncovered a $10,000 life insurance policy that she had no idea that she had. What a great investment in an hour of our doulas. And yeah, she got a nice amount of money to add to her nest egg.
Oh, yeah. And I think what's wonderful is that the care that a doula can provide doesn't end at death, because there's so much that the people who are left behind need. They need that help going through paperwork. Their minds might be full of grief and they might be distracted. We can help call family members. We can help make sure that people know that the person that they've loved has died. We can help uncover $10,000 life insurance policies. We can help with that end of life celebration or funeral planning. It's just, there's so much goodness. So really, the only limits to what doulas in general can provide is our imagination. And I love to say, we think of doulas, when we hear the word doula, we sometimes think of birth doulas. We've heard of birth doulas. And so in a way, those birth doulas help usher in life from beyond. And so for death doulas, or our end of life doulas, we catch you on the other side. We help you have that dignified passing. We help you get your affairs in order. We help you die with dignity. And we partner with hospice in order to do so. That's what I love about this as well. And I love that ABODE, in our ABODE at Home Doula Dispatch Service, we partner with hospice. They are our best friends here. They help get us referrals. They may have a client that they think could use a little doula love. And so we're able to then help them out. They help us out. And it's this beautiful symbiotic relationship we have with our hospice partners. I think it's kind of our goal, Mary. Would you agree that we would love every hospice organization to have a doula on their payroll? Because there's so much that we can provide.
I would love to see that happen. I think having a doula as a hospice employee, a hospice team member, provides the hospice with a competitive advantage when compared with other hospices. So I see a reason why they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the biggest gift that doulas can provide, both for hospice organizations and the clients we serve, is the gift of time. So many hospice workers are very busy, right? They have a lot of cases and a lot of people that they're tending to. And so by partnering with a doula, you have that a little bit extra time that the doula can sit, maybe sitting vigil or helping extend the services of the hospice workers. It takes a village, just like it takes a village to bring a child into this world. We believe it takes a village to let people exit this world as well. So much goodness. Yeah, if people are interested, if you live in the San Antonio area, you can inquire about our ABODE at Home End of Life Doula Dispatch Service by looking on our website, and we'll have some links in our show notes. You can get in touch with me. I can get you in touch with a doula who can help provide what you need. If you want to get a head start on all of this end of life planning, don't wait. I think you can get started as early as 18, like I said before, and maybe hire your own doula to help walk that path with you. So Mary, before I go, I think I will make sure to ask any questions about things that I don't know about end of life. And if I don't have those answers, I'm going to hire me a doula. How about you?
I'm going to do the very same thing. I'm going to hire an ABODE doula.
Ooh, yes, I like that. Well, thank you, everybody. And we highly recommend that you use this time to hire your own doulas. Get ahead of the game before you go. Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Before You Go, the official podcast of ABODE Contemplative Care for the Dying.
At ABODE, we believe that death is not a medical event. It's a very natural event. So therefore, we are not offering medical advice. We're simply sharing our experiences and knowledge with you before you go.
Make sure to visit us online at abodehome.org, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And while you're there, click that donate button to help us along. This podcast was edited by Make Your Day Richer.